Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Anshika, and in today's video we are going to discuss about management of operating or economic exposure, right? So in this video we are going to understand about the meaning of economic exposure, along with that management of this exposure, right? So basically we have operational strategies and currency risk strategies to manage the operating or economic exposure. All right, let's firstly understand the types of exposures, right? We have three types of exposures whenever a company is being involved internationally. So first type of exposure is the transaction exposure, right? As the name suggests, the transaction exposure is for particular agreement or contract or sales or purchases, right? Whenever a company deals internationally, so the impact of exchange rate risk on particular transaction is known as the transaction exposure. I hope this is clear to you, right? We have already discussed about the transaction exposure and the techniques to manage the transaction exposure in the previous video. So if you want to learn everything about the transaction exposure, so please go and check that video, okay? Then comes your translation exposure. Now say a company A is being operated in US, okay? It has its branches in other countries, say India, Africa, UK and Australia, right? So whenever these company in other countries is going to make the financial accounts, okay, so once these are being combined, so these are to be translated into the US currency, into the holding company, right? So this says a firm's consolidated financial statements can be affected by the exchange rate. So whatever the exchange rate affects in converting the financial statements into the home country is known as the translation exposure. I have also covered the translation exposure in detail along with its management techniques, okay? So the very important topic for today is the economic exposure. So economic exposure is also like the transaction exposure, with the only difference between these two is that economic exposure affects the entire value of the firm with respect to the exchange rate changes, right? The economic exposure is long term. Why? Because it affects the overall health of the firm, right? Whereas your transaction exposure is short term and is related to particular transaction only. I hope this is clear to you guys. Okay, now we have also understood that transaction and translation exposure can be measured, okay? That can be estimated, therefore it can be managed or hedged properly. Whereas economic exposure is difficult to quantify and hence it is very challenging to hedge or manage it. Clear? Now I have already explained that whenever a firm transacts internationally, right, so it is exposed to the exchange rate risk. Now this exchange rate risk is going to affect the business, okay, and its overall health. All right, now this exchange rate risk could be due to foreign market, right, political instability, market reactions to new news or events, and the weather events. Okay, so this is the meaning of the exchange rate fluctuation. Okay, now how it impacts the overall health of the business is the economic exposure. Clear? Okay, now moving ahead, we have already seen that economic exposure is caused by the exchange rate fluctuation, right? Thus it is going to affect the cash flows of the business, revenue, cost and overall profitability, right? It is also going to impact the export or imports of the business, foreign subsidies or the operations and international pricing strategies, right? Along with the global supply chains and competitive market dynamics. We are going to understand this with the help of the example. Before that, let's understand. I've taken an example. Okay, understand the meaning of currency appreciation and depreciation. Okay, now here is an example. We have US dollar and Indian rupee, right? So 1 US dollar, say, is for rupees 70, and due to economic exposure, 1 US dollar has become equal to 75 rupees. Now what is this? We can say that US dollar has appreciated. US dollar has appreciated, whereas Indian currency has depreciated. Why? Because earlier for 1 US dollar I had to pay 70 rupees, and now for the same $1 I have to pay more of the currency, that is 75, right? So this is the currency depreciation. Indian currency has depreciated. Whenever a currency depreciates, right, for the imports I have to pay more, right? Earlier where I was paying 70 rupees for purchasing something, now for the same thing I have to pay 75 rupees. So this is your currency depreciation, and opposite of this is the currency appreciation. Taking the same example, we have 1 US dollar, right? Earlier the US dollar was equal to, say, 70 rupees, and now the same has become 65. Okay, earlier I was paying for 1 US dollar, say, rupees 70, and now I am going to pay for same US dollar 65. I can say that US dollar has depreciated and Indian currency has appreciated, right? Now in this case, if I want to import, okay, I will have to pay less amount. For imports, I will have to pay less amount, and for exports, again I will get less amount, right? Because my currency has appreciated. Earlier I was getting for 1 US dollar 70 rupees, and now I will be getting 65 rupees for the same US dollar. I hope this is clear. Now I can say that stronger foreign currency may make production inputs more expensive, causing decreased profit. So whenever my currency is becoming more stronger, my inputs are going to become more costly, and therefore it will decrease the profits of the firm. Clear? I have taken an example of ABC Limited Company, that is a high-tech gadget company Okay, so it is operating in US. Further, it goes and expands its business in European markets. Right? Now what happens is its domestic currency, that is US dollar, starts to fluctuate against euro. Now these are the types of risks it is going to face, or the company is going to face, in terms of revenue, in terms of cost, competition and financing. So we can say that, example, 1 US dollar was earlier equal to euro, that is 0.09, and now US dollar has depreciated. Say now the same 1 US dollar and the euro is 1.2. For 1 US dollar, now you have to pay 1.2 euro. Earlier I was paying 0.9 euros. Right? Now what will be the impact on the business of ABC Limited in terms of revenue? Cost of production is going to increase, because earlier I was producing at 0.9 euro and now I have to produce the same output at 1.2 euros. So my cost is going to increase. When the cost of production increases, right, my sales are going to reduce. This is simple economics, and profits are going to reduce. I hope this is clear. And simultaneously, what will happen in the competitive market? In the competitive market, if the relative goods are cheaper, okay, so what will happen? That will be loss in the market share of the ABC Limited. Right? And for financing, if ABC Limited, for operating in, say, European market, if I was fetching my loans or finances from European market, my loans and finances from European market will be expensive now. I hope this example is clear to you. If not, then please comment in the comment section. I will surely reply. Right? So this is how the overall health of the company has been affected by the fluctuation in the currency, exchange rate currency. Right? Now, if ABC Limited want to manage its economic exposure, how can it do? Firstly, it can reduce its cost by shifting production houses, right, or diversifying the products, diversification of the products, okay. And for revenues, what it can do is shift or manage pricing of products, okay. We can say diversification, right. And for financing, it can fetch loan in home country or countries from where finances or loans are cheaper. So all these are your strategies of managing the economic exposure. We are going to learn all these strategies one by one, right? Moving further, we have two basic strategies. First one is the operational strategy and another one is the currency risk strategy. Now the first one is the operational strategy. As the name suggests, what it does is that it manages the operations of the business, right? How can it do so? By controlling, say, pricing, production, okay, supply chains, cost, so on and so forth, that is related with the operations of the business. So same are the strategies. We have diversification of the production facilities and markets of the product. Okay, then we have is the pricing strategy, then sourcing flexibilities and diversification of the financing. So these are your operational strategies. And in currency risk strategies, how do we do so? By managing the currency, one currency against the another country's currency. So this is one of the strategy is matching currency flows, currency risk sharing agreements, back-to-back loans and currency swaps. We are going to discuss this one by one, right? Now let's discuss the operational strategies. First one is the diversification of production facilities and market of production, right? So we have seen in that example, previous example, ABC Limited was operating, right? And it is US based company, okay, and it was operating in European market. US dollar depreciated. Now in this case, what this ABC Limited can do? It can expand its business in the other countries. So what it can do? It can go for multiple markets and mitigate the impact of currency fluctuations. One, further it can do is the diversifying the suppliers and sourcing materials from other countries. So now if it does so, what will happen? This will reduce the cost of production. The cost of operations or the cost of production due to US dollar depreciation have become more, right? So thus it can diversify its suppliers and sourcing materials so as to reduce the cost of production, right? Another strategy is for the pricing strategies. Now what the company can do is that it can price the product or service in the local currency in the target market, right? So as to maintain the competitiveness and to reduce the risk for losing the customers. Clear? So the next strategy under operational strategy is sourcing flexibility, right? When we saw that US dollar has depreciated, right? So in this case, it can acquire its input from other countries where the value of US dollar is more, right? And the last strategy under this operational strategy is diversification of financing. We saw that one US dollar was earlier equal to how much? 0.9 euro. And now the same US dollar is for 1.2 euros. Okay, so in this case, what this company can do is that it can acquire the loan or finances either in local currency or from some other country where the rate of interest is less, right? And from where it can get more finances. Now we are going to discuss about the currency risk strategies. The first strategy under this is matching currency flows. So that means a company is required to match its foreign currency inflows and outflows, right? Let's understand this with the help of an example. We have US based company. Okay, it has significant inflows in euros, right? In euros. Now if this same company wants to raise its debt, it should consider borrowing in European currency only, right? This is the way it can manage its inflows and outflows. Clear? The next strategy is currency risk sharing agreements. Now in this, what two parties does is that it fix the sale or the purchase contracts in advance so as to share the risk arising due to exchange rate fluctuation. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Say we have two parties, parties A and party B. Okay, so for buying a particular product, A agrees to pay say $2 after 3 months, and B also agrees in this. So what we have done is that we have fixed the agreement, okay, beforehand, and after 3 months A is going to pay $2 for a specific product. Whether the price of the same product increases or decreases, A is going to pay $2. So this is the currency risk sharing agreement, where an agreement for sale or purchase is being fixed previously. So the next strategy under currency risk strategy is back-to-back loans. In this, what happens is that two companies from different countries arrange to borrow each other's currency for a definite period. One thing, okay, and a company makes loan in its home currency and receives collateral in the foreign currency. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Say there are two countries, one is India and one is US, right? So two companies are based, one is based in India and another one is based in US. Now the Indian company is going to give loan to US based company in Indian rupee, right? Loan in home country and collateral will be given by US country, by company based in US to India, in the Indian company, that will be on US dollars. Clear? And similarly, US based company will be giving loan to the Indian based company in US dollars, and collateral will be given by the Indian company in Indian rupees. I hope this is clear. Okay, moving further, we have the last strategy, that is the currency swaps. Now in this, what happens is that companies based in different countries, what they do is that companies will exchange both interest and principal in one currency for the same in another currency at a fixed date until the maturity of the swap. Say two companies, that is A and company B, right? They are going to swap their principal amount and interest amount in the other country's currency, right? B is going to swap and it's going to pay in the currency of A, okay, and A is going to make the payment of principal as well as interest in B currency, B country's currency, right? I hope this is clear to you guys. If yes, then please subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a nice day.